had a chance to catch up with the testimony yesterday, at least the Hutchinson testimony. I don't think there was any other testimony yesterday. There is some controversy around it because two Secret Service men who had relayed to Hutchinson a story about Trump's fervent attempts to get to the Capitol on January 6th. Supposedly, unnamed sources say they are now claiming not to have said that to Hutchinson. There were only two people in the car, or three people in the car, is my understanding. There may have been more, but I think there was only three. That was Trump and these two Secret Service people. Now, Secret Service guys, they don't want to come out and I don't know what this is. What's this? Okay.
It's there for 1 second.
This is okay.
It's not even up.
All right. Secret Service guys are not really supposed to talk about what happens on their detail. They don't want this to get out. It's not hard to imagine that two guys who were a little bit loose with their lips, as it were, are a little concerned about that getting out there. They supposedly are going to, are willing to testify. It'll be interesting to see if they will testify under oath. Nevertheless, there was a lot of things that Hutchinson said that has been confirmed and not refuted. Here is Liz Cheney interviewing the former assistant to Mark Meadows, Cassidy Hutchinson, on Donald Trump, what he said when he was told that some rally-goers could not get into the area that he wanted because there were roving, essentially metal detectors that kept people from bringing weapons into the area. So in other words, a lot of weapons were confiscated. A lot of people decided not to go into that area and to stay outside the perimeter because ostensibly they didn't want the weapons.
Which was something that Trump took umbrage with because he wanted the crowd to be as big as possible.
And maybe also he didn't want people to be without their weapons. Right. Here is what he said to longtime Republican operative. She's only in her late 20s, but she had worked for Steve Scalise and others on the Hill.
Ted Cruz. So she's a die-in-the-wool Republican. Yeah.
These are the texts that are describing what you said. Between Cassidy Hutchinson, she says the crowd looks good from this vantage point. As long as we get the shot, he was fucking furious.
This is clip number one, right?
Yes.
And the text messages also stress that President Trump kept mentioning the OTR and off-the-record movement. We're going to come back and ask you about that in a minute. But could you tell us, first of all, who it is in the text who was furious?
The he in that text that I was referring to was the president.
And why was he furious, Ms. Hutchinson?
He was furious because he wanted the arena that we had on the ellipse to be maxed out at capacity for all attendees. The advance team had relayed to him that the mags were free-flowing. Everybody who wanted to come in had already come in, but he still was angry about the extra space and wanted more people to come in.
And did you go to the rally in the presidential motorcade?
I was there, yes, in the motorcade.
And were you backstage with the president and other members of his staff and family?
I was.
And you told us, Ms. Hutchinson, about particular comments that you heard while you were in the tent area.
When we were in the offstage announce area tent behind the stage, he was very concerned about the shot, meaning the photograph that we would get, because the rally space wasn't full. One of the reasons, which I previously stated, was because he wanted it to be full and for people to not feel excluded because they'd come far to watch him at the rally. And he felt the mags were at fault for not letting everybody in. But another leading reason, and likely the primary reason, is because he wanted it full and he was angry that we weren't letting people through the mags with weapons, what the Secret Service deems as weapons and our weapons.
So here's Donald Trump saying he doesn't care who has the weapons. They're not going to hurt him. And it's just more indicative of his awareness of what was going on in terms of the Capitol.
Yeah, and she testified a bunch of other things, like about Rudy Giuliani saying January 6th is going to be, quote, a great day.
We'll get to the other clips later in the program.
Okay.
We got to get through this now. We have sponsors, and then we'll get to Mark Joseph Stern in just a moment.